Hey, good evening. It is day number 60 of 90. So these are Facebook Lives that I do every evening, sometimes during the day, sometimes in the morning, but usually in the evening. It just works out that way. My name's Alan Thomas, and I have a business called Rethink Dieting, which is part of my company Transform My Future. And my focus is on helping men overcome the pounds that hold them back from living the future they were destined to live. Obese and overweight men. And every night I tell a story about my journey that happened in 2017 when I stepped on the scale in March of 2017 and weighed 304 pounds. I'm 5'11", and my wife had a lot to say about it this morning. It was kind of interesting, but it really made me pause and think about it. So I tell this story over and over because, every night there's different people watching. This video gets shared. Some, I hope it reaches somebody that it can help. But, my story was when literally it was probably 5:30 in the morning. I stepped on my scale. It was the day after my 31st wedding anniversary. And I get up early. I like to have that morning time to myself. And when I stepped on it, I was expecting to see 298, 299, which is morbidly obese, by the way. It's not good. But when I saw 304, it was like, oh my God, 304 pounds. I'm 5'11". I'm 55 years old at the time. And, I spent years in the life insurance business, and primarily focused on senior market. That's people that are typically over 60 and 65. And it hit me standing there staring at the scale that I'd never met a man that was 65 years old or older that had more than 100 pounds of extra weight on him, that he was obese. Really, in thinking about it, maybe one guy that was over 60 that was obese to that degree, over 100 pounds of weight. And so immediately it meant to me I had less than 10 years to live. Well, 10 years, when you reach 55, for those of you watching this that are 30, 35, think about when you were 20 or 25, or when you're 40, 45. That seems like last Tuesday, and I'm getting a big hair thing going on here. So anyway, bear with me. But this idea that I wasn't going to live long really hit me. And I talk to men every day about this, and I really want to. I'm going to focus on this tonight for the few minutes I'm going to take with you. But I want you to picture me. I'm standing there. I'm looking at the scale. It's 304 pounds. It's dark outside. Bathrooms. The only thing lit in the bathroom is that digital readout, 304.0, and it goes through my mind. Oh my God, I'm going to be one of those guys. Like, I walk into a house, and I met with literally thousands of senior adults, helping them with their life insurance. And there was always, in a lot of the houses you go into, there was these pictures on the wall. And I always look around, and see, connecting with the client and just wanting to get to know them a little bit, see who they are. And a lot of times there would be individuals in the picture. I said, well, who's that? Oh, that was my first husband. And I said, really, what happened to him? And, well, he passed away of X, Y, Z. And so I figured I was going to be that first husband. I was going to be that guy that, I married my wife. She told me tonight, you married me for life. And that means live a long time. But, that I was going to be dead, and she was going to be moving on. She has a particular rock star picked out, just so you guys know. I'm not going to say his name, but because I don't want to get a heads up to this, but she has a particular rock star picked out already. So, yeah, on all seriousness, I realized that the likelihood of my wife, at 50, if I passed at 58, 56, 57, because of my morbid obesity, that the likelihood of her staying single the rest of her life was pretty slim. She's, I married up, and she, there would be another guy that would be married to her, come along, hopefully with a respectable length of time, come along. She'd marry him. My kids, I had a daughter that's 15, son that's, all the way, and 3 sons, all the way up to 27 years old. They'd be calling that guy dad eventually. grandchildren, be calling them that guy grandpa. That would be the guy in their life, and I would be gone because I couldn't control the stinking fork. And and I talk to men all the time, and it's interesting when when I get on the phone with somebody who schedules a breakthrough session with me and is interested in my program. I mean, I tell people all the time, if you're looking for another diet, I'm not your guy, because there's not but about 1,000 of them out there. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist, dietitian, physical fitness expert, but on that day that I was standing on the scale at 304 pounds, I had a turning point, and 260 days later, I stood on the same scale at 175. And there's a lot I learned on that journey. And one of the things I learned was it was a choice, and it was always a choice. Now, I've had people tell me, well, I can't stop eating. That's the most common thing and I get it. I couldn't either. And I talked about this some last night. It's your diet. Do you have to stick to an eating plan that causes you to lose weight? 100%. You got to. There's no way around it. You've got to change what you eat. If you're morbidly obese, you got there. It wasn't an accident. Something happened, unless somebody tied you down and fed you. I mean, and they weren't tying me down. I was sneaking into the cartons of Moose Tracks ice cream, and after eating a big meal and having seconds and thirds or whatever. And it was a prison of my own doing. And so when I was standing on that scale, all those things were running through my mind, and it was just literally a disaster. But I knew that that thing that I wanted to do always, and I wasn't exactly sure what it was. I'd had a lot of success, thank God, but I didn't. I knew there was something else I was supposed to be doing, and I'd never done that. And I knew that I was running out of time, and I had to extend my time. And so I grabbed my cell phone, just like you do in any disaster, and I took a picture. That's the reason that if you look on my website at transformmyfuture.com, or watch my masterclass, you'll see that picture of that 304-pound scale. That is the scale that I was on that day, on March the 2nd, 2017, early in the morning. I think it was about 5 o'clock in the morning. And that was it. And that was me taking a picture of what was a disaster in my life. And I saw it, and I said, never again will I see this. And I learned a lot of things along that journey, but what I've learned too is how many men that I talk to are in denial. I talk to guys every day. I hear this, and they want to lose weight because they want to feel better. They want to do that. All that's good. And I always ask them about their family. Because I'm wondering, does anybody care if you live or die? Is really what's going through my mind. And I'll tell you that. That's it. In every case they do. And in every case, that family, it matters. And it's interesting. I have people tell me, well, I've got a lot of life insurance. Well, yeah, I was in the life insurance business. That's a really good thing, and that's really responsible. But really, that's all you're worth is a stack of money to your family. I mean, my dad died in 2011 when I was 50. He was 82. He died from a brain tumor. I'd give anything to ask him just a couple more questions. He was my go-to guy for wisdom. My dad was one of the wisest guys I've ever known. And so I say to you guys who are dads, who are, all of us have somebody in our life at some level. But if you got kids, you got grandkids, come on, guys. This is a big deal. I mean, you're worth more than a stack of money. You're more than an ATM machine, okay? It's great that you've taken care of your family financially, but wouldn't it make sense to do what's necessary to uncover yourself from all this burden of weight and to give yourself a fighting chance? Now, is it a guarantee you're going to live a long life? No. Gosh, I mean, my dad died. He wasn't obese. He died of a brain tumor. We didn't see that coming. All kind of things happen to people, and I certainly don't predict how long people are going to live. But I can tell you this, if you're morbidly obese, you've got 50, 75, 100, 200, 300 pounds of excess weight on you, you're a time bomb. I mean, it's just a statistic. I don't know all the answers. I mean, go ask your doctor, who has a 25% chance of being obese or 22% chance, and go ask them, what do they think your chances are? How long do they think you're going to live? How many years is it taken off of your life? Are you just worth your life insurance? Or maybe, just maybe, your wife married you, or your significant other that you're with, so that they could have a life with you, so they'd have a life sentence of spending time and doing things and experiences and all those things that you want to do, that you've always meant to do, but because you can't put down the fork, you won't do it. Now, I'm not saying this to shame anybody. I know what it's like to be over 100 pounds overweight. For some of you guys, that seems incomprehensible. For others of you, you're like, I passed that 100 pounds flying by and I'm 200 or 300 pounds overweight. But it's the same thing. There's shame involved. There's all the stuff that I never really wanted to face. And that scale, looking at that scale, made me face that. And it was like, my eyes got open to the fact that, what I was doing was just completely irresponsible. And I'm not saying this again to shame anybody or to embarrass anybody, but think about it. It is a choice. It is a choice. Now, guys tell me all the time, I can't stick to anything. I can't do this. I'm looking for something to do. I'm looking for the perfect diet the rest of my life. Well, how's what you're doing working? I mean, that's what I did. I just got into action. And so when I talk to men who say, I've got plenty of life insurance, and this is something I hear all the time. If I've talked to you and you're thinking I'm talking to you, well, I probably am talking to you, but promise you, I hear it every day, multiple times a day. Got plenty of life insurance. She's gonna be okay. She's gonna be okay. She got plenty of life insurance on the job. We got plenty of life insurance here. Well, that's good. I was an insurance agent. Still am actually an insurance agent. But I'm not out. I do this full time now. But the life insurance that you need to be thinking about is that life that you were destined to live. That life that your wife married you for, that your kids, your daughters, your sons, your grandsons, your granddaughters, that the people that are in your life, that they're believing you're going to live. And if you're over 100 pounds overweight and you think, and you're over 40, over 50, and you think you got 20, 30 years left, maybe you do. Maybe you do. God, I hope you do. But if you don't change something, something doesn't change, I think it reduces the chance that you're going to have those years, and it's more, and you're more than an ATM machine. You weren't put on this earth to just be fat. I wasn't. Just hear me out, and these clearly aren't scripted. I just, my wife gave me this topic because she's like, you're really sloughing over that whole thing about how important that was about you being my first husband and all this kind of stuff. And I still am her first husband, by the way. And I'm planning to live. And I'm planning to live a long time. Now, no guarantees, nobody knows, but I'm doing everything I can to make sure that happens. But for you guys that don't believe you can stick to something, there's clearly diets and exercises work if you can stick to them. But having the power, and this is something one of my guys who's had an incredible journey himself, he said that having the power is what he got when he came to our program. Having the power to stick to the diet, to stick to the exercise. And I get to talk to guys every day that are winning. And they're not just winning in the scale. They're winning on the scale, but they're telling me stories of things that are happening in their life that have nothing to do with weight, but have everything to do with weight. So if you think your weight's holding you back, like mine was, my weight was holding me back. It was holding me back. Maybe it's not holding you back in business. Maybe it's not holding you back in areas for a lot of men, in your profession, your career, and your relationships and all this. But maybe it's holding you back from just plain living a longer life. Maybe it's that simple. Maybe your wife or your significant other really would like to see you live just a little bit longer and have a few more laughs with you, a few more fun times, a few more songs that y'all share, a few more memories. Maybe that's what they want. Maybe that's what you're being held back from. So, listen to this. It makes sense to you. Reach out to me if you need help. I don't have every answer. My program is not for everybody. I say that every day, but I know the way through the wilderness of obesity. I've been there. I failed on, dozens and dozens of diets. I don't think it was at quite 100, but it was probably close to it. I lost count somewhere along the way, but I know what it's like to fail, and I know what it's like to win at it, and I prefer winning. And I know you do too, and you might not think it's possible, but I talk to guys every day that didn't think it was possible 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I was just talking to an incredible guy who's just absolutely crushing it. And he's doing everything right, and he's figuring it out, and it's just fun to watch. And I talked to guys this morning and yesterday, and guys in the program that are just, they're winning. And one of our guys hit his target weight. He picked a weight he didn't believe he could hit. He dropped 95 pounds at it, on a 5'6" frame, and he's getting fitter and all these things and all this stuff. And it was never the diet. It was never the exercise that was the formula to get him down. Did he stick to one? Of course they did. Did they change their eating habits? Of course they did. Are they changing their exercise habits? Of course they do. But if that was the problem, you'd already have a 32-inch waist and 6-pack abs. You'd already be there. So if you're stuck, you need help, reach out to me at transformmyfuture.com/apply. I promise to have a better hair day that day. transformmyfuture.com/apply and book a breakthrough session with me. Pick a spot on my calendar that's open, and we'll have an honest conversation, and we'll figure out if Rethink Dieting is what you need to be doing to reach an ideal weight. And but do something. Don't ignore this. I mean, you're seeing this video for a reason. I don't know what it is. I don't know everybody watching this, certainly. But if you know somebody that needs help, reach out, because my heart is to help these men uncover the potential that lies within them, so that they can live the futures they were destined to live. And this weight holds us back. So guys, y'all have a great evening. We're 2/3 the way through the 90 days, and I'm Alan Thomas for Rethink Dieting, and we'll see you tomorrow.